13, 12.
Mute them.
We are now live. Jolliver, start after 10 seconds.
Good morning, Philippines. Good morning, world. My co-host is Trustee Jolliver Mapiles of NREA Pampanga chapter.
Our morning, everyone. My host is Baguio City and for the Cordillera Region NREA chapter president. We all settle as for business forum online with a to be led by Mindoro chapter president is Erika M. Catarbas.
Ito niya yan.
Miss Sarah.
Okay. Anyway, I think we have a technical problem on the part of Ma'am Erika Catarbas. So may we just involve one of our member here who is around, Attorney Rolando Vergara. Sir, if you may kindly lead a prayer. Sir Rolly. Sir Rolly, can you hear me? Okay, anyway, everyone, may we have our attention in the spirit of togetherness and the spirit of our divine providence. May we ask each one of us to be blessed by this situation that we are now having, and may this online forum be successful at its very objective of reviewing what has been done in the Philippines today. May we all be blessed and be kept safe and secure in our homes with our families and friends and colleagues in our work. This prayer may we ask in the name of Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine National Anthem.
Incorporated
How is the audio, sir?
I can only hear Miss
There's
Alma.
no audio.
Okay,
Okay. Anyway,
I'll just be
Okay,
reading this. Thank you to our sponsors, E.G. Ganson Incorporated, Bria Homes, Vista Residences, Golden Haven Memorial Parks, Duraville Realty and Development Corporation, Forest Lake, SMDC, The Houselands, and Fiesta Communities. Thank you very much to our sponsors.
okay, may I have the honor to introduce to you our Board of Trustees and Officers for the 2021. He is the CEO of First Centennial Centerland Development Corporation, Chairman of the Board, Benny Cabrieto Jr. Our President of First Park Homes Incorporated, our Board Vice Chairman, Ricky M. Celis, and she is a licensed realty service practitioner and proprietor owns IC Magtoto Realty, our National President, Ms. Imelda C. Magtoto. He is the COO of Bria Homes and Golden Haven, known in the group of his brand and marketing prowess, making powerhouses out of startup companies. Our Executive Vice President, Sir Red J. Rosales. He is a licensed realty service practitioner and BSREM instructor, PRC accredited lecturer, Vice President for Internal Affairs, Mr. Jovi W. Tupas. We also have our Vice President for External Affairs, Eduardo Sanchez, who is also heading and leading the NREA bulletin. She is also the PRC licensed real estate broker, PRC registered nutritionist dietitian, corporate secretary and manager of Realcore Incorporated and Seneca Property Management and Leasing Incorporated, our vice president for chapter affairs, Ma'am Zenny Fruto. Principal Architect of RB Archi Design Studio and Director, Committee on Continuing Professional Development Professional Lecturer, National University, our Secretary General, Architect Roni D. Biando. She is licensed real estate broker appraiser, currently Marketing Director of Sunny Ridge Residences in Mandaluyong City, our Board Treasurer, Nicole Lim Chowa. Currently, the Chief Operating Officer of Mapicon Philippines Incorporated, our Board Auditor, Ms. Ruth Marie Atienza. For our Board of Trustees, we also have Sir Jeffrey Bongat, Sir Rodolfo Leonen, and Aniceto Bisnar Jr. and Maria Isolde Flores Prado. For our Board of Advisors, we have our once crowned Miss Asia Pacific, a public servant and a highly acclaimed anchor woman, Buhay OFW TV, Ma'am Chair Lady Marisa Del Mar. We also have the CEO and President of Ganson Incorporated, Advisor Architect Grace Layug. We also have our world-renowned architect and urban planner who has been cited by Forbes Asia magazine as one of the 48 heroes of philanthropy in Asia, Architect Felino Palafox Jr. He is the principal architect of Nestor S. Mangio Associates, an architectural and urban planning company, chairman, president, and CEO of Central Country Estate Incorporated, architect Nestor Mangio. A developer of champions with values who holds the signature program, the Shark Principles, chairman and co-founder at Habitas Developments, Sir Alejandro S. Manyalak. He was past board member of Professional Regulatory Board of Real Estate Services, bemedaled and once dubbed as one of the exemplary men of influence in 2012, Sir Bansan Choa. We also have currently the president of Subdivision and Housing Developers Association Incorporated and the MGS Corporation Incorporated, and the Chief Financial Officer of Vista Residences Incorporated, Sir Marcelino C. Mendoza. Ladies and gentlemen, our Board of Advisors and Officers.
Now, when we acknowledge the NREA chapter's president, from Metro Cebu chapter, Ms. Emmy Pulido, from Bulacan chapter, Mr. Dennis Sumo, from Pampanga chapter, Ms. Bioli Evaristo, from Pangasinan chapter, Mr. Roel Agasita, from Baguio chapter, Ms. Alma Grace Sara, from Bataan chapter, Ms. Juliet Repuerso, And from Zambales chapter, Mr. Dave Lubong. From the South, Cavite chapter, Ms. Sandy Coral. Tagaytay, Batangas chapter, Ms. Rosa Maria Rias. From Mindoro chapter, Attorney Erica Catarbas. And from Ormoc Leyte chapter, Mr. Evelio Barona. For Cebu chapter, Mr. Abunjo Gulchano Jr. From Iloilo chapter, Ms. Annie Lencioco. From Cagayan de Oro chapter, Ms. Violazita Zun. From Davao chapter, Ms. Livia Pepino. From Zamboanga chapter, Mr. Jeffy Baluran. And from South Cotabato Jensen chapter, Ms. Anna May Escalante. Now, may we acknowledge also the NREA Secretariat led by our Executive Director, Ms. Aurora Pusong, our Public Relations Officer, Mr. Virgilio Maclang, our Executive Assistant and Event Officer, Ms. Leylin Santawana, our Admin Assistant and Education Secretary, Ms. Eileen Garlitos, our Admin Secretary and Technical Specialist, Mr. Paul Santos, our Accounting Officer, Ms. Malia Lourdes Angeles, and our Liaison Officer, Mr. Bernardo Ejada. Okay, we are inviting everyone to join us at the National Real Estate Association. Be a member. Join us now. Be part of one of the biggest real estate association in our country. You can also contact us through our numbers flashed or through email at nrea_org@yahoo.com. NREA is offering a new normal rate for new members. Also, for all licensed real estate practitioners who would like to avail of the PRC self-directed learning for CPD units, type your full name with picture in the comment. Take picture together with the ongoing NREA Business Forum and send it to NREA for certificate of attendance with a fee. So these are our house rules for this event. Kindly mute our microphone. Please turn off your camera. Only the MCs, moderators, officers, and speakers are allowed to use the microphone and camera. Type your questions in the chat box. The moderators will assess and handle the questions after all the speakers have spoken.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Jollibur, trustee of Pampanga chapter. We have entered the third quarter of the calendar year. How are we? In contrast to a year ago, when the economy abruptly plunged somewhat down and there were yet no known vaccines, travel came to a halt, including all sorts of social entertainment outside our homes, where some cities became ghost towns, some offices empty, and many businesses closed not only temporarily, but permanently. Individual families, the many in our society worldwide, gasping not only for fresh air and clean air, but also grasping for food and medication.
Sa pagdating ng iba't ibang mga vaccines na hindi nakapag-promise ng full protection at ang parating na new variant, paano na tayo? Paano na ang ating ekonomiya? At paano na ang ating mga professionals? All this and many more shall be tackled by two renowned speakers in this online business forum, a review of the Philippines today. And to welcome each and one of us, may we call on our National President, Madam Imelda Magtoto.
Morning. The Philippines housing market boom decade-long in 2010 to 2019 was over, with a severe coronavirus-induced economic recession in 2020 up to the present. And now, we are more than half of the year of 2021. And hopefully, we are towards economic recovery despite the continued political uncertainties brought about by this pandemic and the coming 2022 national election. To overcome the Philippine real estate challenges, the real estate and the housing industry is now investing and focus their efforts in technology, where digitalization is becoming the world trend and the millennials are becoming the key team player. The National Real Estate Association, or NREA, in partnership with the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or DSUD, is geared toward this trend by helping FIBOT into and reimagine a new vision of and crafting paradigm shift strategies for housing by holding its 25th NREA DSUD online housing trade exhibit called International Housing Fiesta Filipinas, or IHFF, on September 22 to 24, 2021. Hopefully, this will be the largest online housing trade exhibit in the Philippines, where we envision this virtual property exhibition as a platform to catalyze conversation on envisioning housing into the near future, while enabling housing producers, sellers, home buyers, and other industry players to come to a meeting of the minds and expression of aspiration to the industry targeting the international and local markets. And now, I am pleased to welcome everyone to today's business online business forum of NREA. We are honored and privileged to have distinguished guests such as economist Peter Wallace and Collier's Associate Director for Research, Joey Ro Bondo, where we will engage in a conversation on topic, a preview of the Philippines today. So stay safe, more power, God bless, and thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma'am May. Our NREA Vice President for Internal Affairs, Sir Joey Francis W. Tupas, will do the honor of introducing our special guest and speaker for the first presentation. Sir?
Good morning, everyone. Our speaker covers office, residential, retail, leisure, and industrial segments, and regularly assesses the impact of economic growth to the real estate sector. He handles client engagement through market overview presentations to equity and analysts, property investors, and real estate firms. He has become a familiar face in property news circles, and his reports have been featured on national news programs, broadsheets, and through the regular Collier's Review column in Inquirer Property. Let us all welcome the head of the research division at Collier's Philippines and NREA honorary member, Mr. Joey Roy Bondo. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Mr. Tupas. Morning to NREA members and to our webinar participants this morning. So let me share with you my screen. I just want to update you on what's happening to the Philippine property market. I hope you can see my presentation now. So let me just maximize the screen. So just a quick macroeconomic review. Of course, the Philippine real estate market depends on how the economy is performing. The Philippine property market is cyclical in nature. So whenever we would achieve a very high GDP growth, of course, that has a positive impact on the property market as well. But of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected our economy, and we contracted by 9.6% in 2020. And first quarter of the year, that's a contraction of 4.2%. So somehow the drop in economic output has started to ease. But of course, what we want is to see the government, the economy to grow at a much faster pace. Hopefully, this year, although there are some challenges because of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus, and there are reports that some businessmen are even planning to impose or are in favor of imposing a tighter lockdown all over Metro Manila. So let's see if the government supports that, because if that happens, that will again have another impact to the property market, especially in terms of office leasing. More offices will again be forced to close. More Filipinos, more Metro Manila residents will again be compelled to stay, work from home. So just a slide here on OFW remittances. The OFWs mainly drive the real estate sector. They're one of the major pillars of real estate demand across the Philippines. And if you look at house and lot projects in Pampanga, Bulacan, Tarlac, um, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Cebu, Davao, Iloilo, OFWs really help drive the demand for house and lot only projects. And in 2020, they sent in a total of $33 billion, and that is a lot. Imagine $33 billion being injected to the Philippine economy, and a portion of that is allotted on real estate. So you have selected a house and lot only projects that continue to record decent sales despite the pandemic because of the demand from OFWs. And for 2021, the central bank, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, is projecting remittances to grow by 4%. So again, that should propel demand in the real estate market. Mortgage rates remain low, 6 to 8%, and that helps drive the demand in the pre-selling condominium market. Even in the house and lot market, inflation has somehow started to ease, although we're seeing some spikes, but we believe that this will likely remain stable over the next 12 months. So let me just now give you an update on what's happening to the office segment. BPOs, traditional companies, are working from home, and they've been rationalizing office space requirements. They're working from home. So 50% of employees are working from home, 50% are working on site. So some of them have canceled their lease contracts, pre-terminated. Some of them just finished their lease contracts and eventually decided to work from home. But there are some BPO companies that are still planning to expand in Metro Manila and even in key areas outside of the capital region. So you have those planning to expand in Pampanga, in Bulacan, in Laguna, in Cebu, in Cagayan de Oro, Iloilo. So we have clients that are looking for these sites for their expansion plans, and we continue to assist them. So that's a good news that we see in the market. These companies continue to look for office space across the country. So while people are, well, working from home, some of them find working from home pretty efficient. They're productive when they work from home. Of course, there's still some challenges. Some people still prefer to work in a traditional office. They prefer to work on site because they get to interact with their employees, they get to brainstorm, and they just find it more productive when they are in a traditional office space. There are reports that once all the employees are inoculated or vaccinated with COVID-19 injection vaccines, they will allow or order their employees to start the reporting in a traditional office space. So that is one of the reports that we have been getting, and these companies are likely to eventually ask their employees to work on site. So let's see how that will impact or benefit the office sector. Will that result in greater absorption or take up of office space across Metro Manila? So this is the total office space that we have in Metro Manila right now. That's 12.5 million square meters. Of course, the bulk of your space still in Makati, CBD, Ortigas Center, Fort Bonifacio, and the Bay Area is starting to overtake these business districts. This is the supply that we will see from 2021 to 2025. From 2021, we will see about 880,000 square meters of new office space. And in terms of transactions, there's a new kid on the block, data centers. Because of cloud computing technologies, we need to have stable internet connection and access to data. So cloud computing will really be a crucial part of our daily lives, of our daily work routine. So we will be needing a lot of data, and to support that requirement, we need data centers. And again, as I mentioned, these data centers occupied office space more than 20,000 square meters in the first quarter of 2021. As you can see from this graph, the vacated spaces as represented by lighter blue bars are starting to recede starting third quarter of 2020, and the transactions or the office space deals that we're seeing in the market increased the first quarter of 2021. So we were a bit more optimistic, in fact, at the start of the year that we were already seeing green shoots of recovery, so probably the office market will start to recover finally. However, because of a tighter lockdown imposed second quarter of this year, that somehow affected the number of queries and leasing deals that we saw in the market. So vacancy for 2020, 9.1%, but for 2021, this increased to 12.5%. And in fact, right now we're seeing vacancy at about 11% all over Metro Manila. So you have vacant spaces in Makati CBD, Ortigas Center, in Fort Bonifacio, because again, some employees are working from home. They've completely terminated their lease contract. So that is a strategy that they have been implementing, and that has resulted in the reduction of office rents, office lease rates across Metro Manila. So we're now seeing 20%, 30% discount for office lease rates across Metro Manila in selected business districts. Some landlords are even more generous, willing to provide free fit-out period for 2-3 months. And so usually this is the free fit-out period would only last for 1-2 months maximum, but they're willing to extend it to 3 to 4 months, and they're even giving bigger discounts, 30-40% discount for their lease rate, just so they can attract occupancy and make sure that they have healthy levels of occupancy within their office building. So these are the companies that took up space in the first 3 months of 2021. So you have the Philippine Statistics Authority, a government agency. You have the likes of Shopee, JNT Express, Amazon. So it's a mix of e-commerce companies that took up space during the period, and we expect these companies to continue occupying space moving forward for the remainder of 2021, especially those from the logistics business. JNT Express, e-commerce, Food Panda, Shopee, of course, an e-commerce company occupying a lot of office space in Ortigas. Already they have occupied about 19,000 square meters. So that is a lot. Outsourcing companies, as I mentioned previously, pre-pandemic, were not even working from home, but now they're more open to working from home. They were allowed by PEZA. So even if they work from home, they will be given incentives, tax and non-tax breaks from the government. Some of them implementing split operations. So 70% are working from home, 30% are working on site. But positive for the outsourcing sector is that even with the pandemic in 2020, the IBPAP or the IT Business Process Association of the Philippines saw this sector growing. So they continue to hire even during the pandemic. But the only question is, will this hiring of more employees result in an absorption of or take up of more office space? That, of course, remains a question. But what I can tell is that, yes, they do continue to occupy office space, but the office spaces that they occupy of course, are much smaller, okay, compared to the office spaces that they previously occupied or leased. So these are the companies that are likely to occupy space even post-pandemic once we reach herd immunity. These are healthcare e-commerce companies. And another trend that we're seeing for outsourcing companies is that they continue to expand outside of Metro Manila. As I mentioned, this is just an update on what we're seeing and the work schemes that these BPOs are implementing. 3 days in the office, 2 days working from home. And a lot of employees are now allowing their employees to work from home. Employees rather allowing their employees to work from home. And we believe that this will likely be part of the newer and better normal. As you can see here, BPO companies still occupying space even outside of Metro Manila. So the more attractive locations are Tarlac, Pampanga, Batangas, Iloilo, as well as Cebu. Iloilo is a very attractive location. It is an education hub in Western Visayas. It attracts a lot of graduates, and unsurprisingly, it also attracts a lot of BPO companies. So vacancy in Iloilo is in fact very low, mainly because of companies that continue to occupy space in Iloilo. The POGOs, the offshore gaming companies, during their peak, they occupied 1.3 million square meters of office space in Metro Manila. As of first quarter of 2021, they only occupied about 860,000. So they've shed about more than 400,000 square meters of office space already, mainly because they've all returned to China. So they now occupy less office space in Metro Manila. Now, what will help in the recovery of the office leasing market? Economic growth. US, UK economies are expanding, so that should result in more outsourcing jobs here in the Philippines. Interest rates remain very competitive, so that should compel businessmen to continue borrowing to further expand their businesses. And the major recovery enabler in our view is the COVID-19 vaccination all over the country, especially in Metro Manila. The enactment of CREATE law is also a positive thing for the office market, for outsourcing companies, because it clarifies the level amount of taxes that they should pay. Because if you're a businessman, you don't want uncertainty clouding your business decisions, your business plan. So it clarifies the taxes that they will pay. So businesses will know how they will move and how they will plan over the next 3, 5, 10 years, given all these tax rates and tax perks that they will be granted under the newly enacted CREATE law. So the residential market, I know you've been waiting for this. We're also seeing delays in construction of new condominium units, mainly because of the pandemic-induced delays in the construction sector. And then rents and prices also corrected because, well, of the slower demand that we saw in 2020. So this is the condominium stock in Metro Manila. So close to 140,000 condominium units. And of course, Makati CBD still leading with more than 28,000 condominium units as of first quarter of 2021. But a business hub that is also adding more units to its stock every quarter is the Bay Area. So let's see how the Bay Area will progress, and will it overtake Makati CBD? That has yet to be seen for 2021. 4,145 new condominium units were completed first 3 months of 2021. And for this year, we are projecting a recovery in completion, not just in completion, but also in launches. What we have observed in the market is that developers are lining up their launches, their new projects, mainly because they want to tap or recapture pent-up demand. Once the economy recovers, once businesses reopen, once the business sentiment and general consumer confidence improves, will that result in a greater take-up or purchase, acquisition of condominium units? And developers are really preparing for that eventuality. They have been lining up their residential projects, whether it's condominium or house and lot. But in Metro Manila, as I mentioned, there will be a recovery in terms of completion. So we expect more than 10,300 new condominium units in Metro Manila in 2021. That is more than triple the around 3,000 units that we saw being completed or delivered in Metro Manila in 2020. Vacancies in the secondary market, meaning these are units for sale or for lease, also increased in 2020. Bay Area recorded highest vacancy because of the supply that we have in the Bay Area, and of course because of POGOs already leaving the Philippines. So prices corrected as well in 2020, but we see a slight recovery in terms of prices and rents for 2021. It will be a slow increase, but definitely recovery will likely happen latter part of 2022, in line with our projected recovery of office leasing. So these are the residential leasing trends. Foreign teachers, foreign employees are no longer a significant driver of condominium for rent because they had to cancel their travel plans. They no longer had to travel back to the Philippines because, well, the foreign teachers, for example, they only need to do remote teaching, right? Online teaching. So they stayed where they were pre-pandemic or during the pandemic, and they didn't travel back to the Philippines. So that somehow affected the demand from the expatriates. At Colliers, we also assisted a lot of foreign employees to go back to their respective countries. We also saw a growing demand for house and lot projects. A lot of investors are looking for bigger spaces, more open residential spaces, and that has resulted in an increased demand or spike in demand for residential units, house and lot only projects. These are very, very attractive projects during the pandemic. So a lot of investors looking for beachside, beachfront properties. As you can see here, demand for condominium units in Metro Manila dropped in the first quarter of 2021. We saw a peak in demand in 2017, 2018, breaching 50,000 units. But because of the demand from POGO. So that helped the demand and take up of pre-selling residential condominium units in Metro Manila during that time. But again, because the POGOs have already left the Philippines, we are seeing less demand take up for condominium units in Metro Manila right now. So these are just some of the trends that we have been seeing. Joint venture projects, foreign and local developers partnering for selected upscale luxury projects in Metro Manila. And these projects are doing very well despite being classified as luxury projects, meaning priced above 8 million pesos per unit. Some of the trends that we're also seeing in the market, developers tapping the young urban professionals, add to market generation, infrastructure projects are being highlighted. You have BGC Ortigas Link Bridge, Skyway 3, MRT 3 rehabilitation, MRT 7, LRT 1 extension. And these projects will further stoke raise the demand for residential units, whether it's house and lot only, or condominium. Subway also being seen as a major driver of appetite for land across Metro Manila for residential units. These infrastructure projects help raise the value of land and property prices. And infrastructure has really helped not just decongest Metro Manila and ease traffic congestion, but also raise land and property value. So this will definitely have a significant impact on the property market moving forward, even post-pandemic. Digital platforms are also thriving. A lot of investors now physically inspecting residential units or inspecting residential units offline. They don't have to physically check the condominium unit because of the pandemic and the social and physical distancing measures implemented by the government. But what I can tell you is that they've been aggressively marketing these projects, speaking of the developers online, and they've been doing a lot of webinars similar to what we're having right now. As I mentioned, the drop in alien employment permits, the drop in POGO employees has significantly affected the residential condominium market in Metro Manila. So these are the recovery enablers for the residential market. Office leasing will help in the recovery, definitely. But what we have been seeing right now is that developers continue to implement attractive, extended, flexible payment terms. So these are extended, attractive payment schemes that we didn't see 2017, 2018, 2019, when because of the pandemic and developers responding to slower demand, they had to adjust to what the market requires and decided to offer these very attractive payment terms. COVID-19 vaccine rollout, it is progressing very well. And we hope that we reach herd immunity soon because it will have a substantial impact on the recovery of the condominium market in Metro Manila. Of course, the overall GDP growth, Mr. Wallace will discuss this later, but the projected economic growth of the central bank, the Department of Finance, and even foreign multilateral agencies will help stoke the residential market moving forward. Low inflation rates, competitive mortgage rates, this will contribute to a more attractive residential property market moving forward. And hopefully, once we achieve herd immunity, we all benefit from the rebound of the property market, whether you're into office leasing, residential leasing, or sales, whether you're in the retail sector, malls, hotels, of course, and even industrial leasing, warehouses. These are doing very well at this point. The industrial segment is a property sector of relative stability despite the pandemic. It's driven by the thriving, growing demand for e-commerce, for deliveries, frozen products, and of course, the cold chain sector. Cold chain assets will be driven by the demand for more vaccination all over Metro Manila, all over the Philippines. More vaccines will be coming to the Philippines, so they will need more cold chain assets, and this is one sector that developers have really been tapping, and we believe that this cold chain sector will be one of the major drivers of property space moving forward. So a lot of interesting um, developments in the property market. We believe that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, there are opportunities. So these are the results of our survey previously. So I just want to share them with you. First question was, outside of Metro Manila, where are you likely to invest, whether a condominium or a house and lot market? The respondents said that they are willing to invest in Laguna, followed by Cavite, Batangas, of course, Pampanga, also a very attractive location. The most important consideration when buying a condominium unit during a pandemic, they want to be in an integrated community. But aside from that, they take advantage of the discounts and flexible payment terms offered by the government. Another survey question that we asked our respondents, which outlying location in Metro Manila, meaning outside of the major business districts, will you consider for your residential investment? And the top location was Mandaluyong, Alabang, Las Piñas area. Note that we did not include Makati CBD or Tigas Center among the choices. And what type of property will you be investing in over the next 12 months? So no surprise here. More than 40% of our respondents said they want to acquire a lot-only unit, followed by house and lot. And the third choice is condominium. So these are just some of our recommendations for developers. Explore joint venture projects, which remain very attractive. Consider fringe areas for new development, urban areas outside of Metro Manila, Pampanga, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, and continue monitoring key markets such as OFWs, which continue to drive residential demand all over the Philippines. And for tenants, investors, every investor is opportunistic in nature, so take advantage of the attractive payment terms being offered by developers. Make sure that the condominium that you will buy is adaptable to work from home scheme, when you have space enough for you to work from home efficiently, and make sure that it has reliable, stable internet connection. And again, make sure that the unit, the development that you will acquire has a very good location, preferably near infrastructure projects, because that location will have a positive impact in terms of land and property prices. So we say in real estate, location, location, location. That is still very important to this day, and even during the COVID-19 pandemic, that is that continues to drive property prices and attractiveness of residential development. So that is my presentation this morning. Again, Colliers is also active on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. So please check our sites, social media platforms for updates on the property market. We also have a briefing tomorrow. So if you have time, please join us. We will start at 10 a.m. Please visit our Facebook page, Colliers Philippines, so that you can register for free. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
In life, we are always in search of something better. Better jobs, better lifestyle, better investments. Here at Forest Lake, we offer you an alternative, an extraordinary, and a better experience through My Forest Lake portal. Our online portal gives you access to viewing and purchasing of memorial lots safely and conveniently from your home. It provides a place where you can centralize the management of your memorial lot investments with easy access to customer information and services. Registering in My Forest Lake is easy. Just follow these 3 easy steps. Creating a new account is simple. Go to www.forestlakememorialparks.com. Click on Customers on the upper right corner of the site and you will be directed to the My Forest Lake customer portal. Step 1. Click the link and fill out the form or register using your Facebook account by simply clicking on Login with Facebook. Step 2. Input necessary details as needed. And click Next. Step 3. Verify your mobile phone or registered email. Congratulations! You have successfully registered your account. Enjoy a faster, easier, and more secure way of managing your Forest Lake investment at the palm of your hands. View and purchase lots within the safety and comfort of your home. Take advantage of online services exclusive to registered customers. No more long lines when paying your dues. You can now pay through our secure payment options and documented online transactions. You can even chat with our customer service representatives for any concerns. Convenient, right? For inquiries, email us at customerportal@forestlakeparks.com or contact our branch office. Sign up now and start enjoying a better online experience now with Forest Lake. Visit www.forestlakememorialparks.com or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Sign up today and start your investment journey with Forest Lake.
Okay, so thank you so much for our sponsors. Before we move on to our program, may we acknowledge the following dignitaries and other members of chapters for their presence today. We have first chairman of PRBRES and president and CEO of Edward King Global Consultants Incorporated, Dr. Eduardo G. Ong. The Philippine Institute of Environmental Planners President, Architect Joy Hakcholna. Subdivision and Housing Developers Association Chair Lady and President of City Homes Builders and Development Corporation, Ms. Rosie Chai. Mr. Spike Ching from City Homes Builders and Development Corporation, Ms. Dolly Da Costa, Brokers Network Group, SM Development Corporation, SHDA Executive Director Sunny Dukay, participants from Ayala Land Group, NREA Baguio Car Chapter Officers and honorary members, NREA Metro CBD Chapter Officers, NREA Cebu Chapter Officers, NREA Bataan Olongapo Chapter Officers, NREA South Cotabato Jensan Chapter Officers, and NREA Mindoro Chapter Officers. Okay, so we proceed. Ms. Ruth Marie C. Atienza, our National Auditor, shall do the honor of presenting to us our second speaker. Ma'am?
Morning. Our special guest speaker has been living in the Philippines for the past 47 years and has consequently become fully imbibed into Philippine society. In 2016, Congress granted him and approved by the President, Philippine citizenship. He started his professional career as an electrical engineer and subsequently completed a course in business economics. In 1975, he was sent to Manila to build a factory, manufacturing maintenance products. 3 years later, he accepted the position of chairman of a conglomerate, Columbian Philippines Incorporated, that manufactured rope, processed abaca, represented airline, shipping, and automotive companies, operated a laundry operation, and was involved in processing food. Then on to being CEO of Getz Corporation, the largest trading company at that time. He founded his own business, the Wallace Business Forum, in 1982. A company that is in its 39th year of success at helping CEOs understand the business environment in the Philippines. He writes a weekly column in the Inquirer and is involved in a number of charitable endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest speaker, the chairman of the Wallace Business Forum and honorary NREA member, Mr. Peter Wallace.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Ruth. What wasn't mentioned was that Joey and I
Sir, you're on mute.
I don't know. I push.
It's okay now, sir.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Ruth. Joey and I used to work together, so we know each other well, and he's the one who coerced me into speaking to you today. He was right, you know, that the uptake in selling land around around the ocean, around the beaches is certainly growing. I live in Lake Kaliraya, and for decades we've had almost no movement of land here at all. And in just the last few months, we've had more and more people coming up here to look at and buy land. It's a very definite increase in what's happening. But let me get on to where we are in the economy. A little bit of this will repeat something that Joey has said. Last year, we had a decline of 9.6%. This is very sad because prior to the pandemic, we had been growing at around 6%, heading for 7% or more. The economy was in good shape and heading in the right direction. COVID has brought it all down. And so we have lost that 9.6%. And the first quarter of this year was also very bad, much worse than any of us expected. It was a decline of 4.2%. And that's knocked growth for this year on its head. We are expecting in the second quarter to see a recovery, but those results won't be out yet for a couple of weeks. And almost everything was down, except government consumption, which was up, and that was principally in the build, and in the Bayanahan 1 and 2, giving money out to people to help them through this crisis. Agriculture continued to perform poorly, and agriculture bothers me greatly. It should be the most successful part of our economy because we are a rural economy, and agriculture, we have good climate, we have good soil. We should have a very good agriculture sector, but it never has been. So it was down 1.2%, industry down because of the lack of ability to sell out into the market because of the lockdowns, and services was also down. But we did see a growth in finance, mostly because people had low interest rates, were able to borrow. Public administration and defense were up. The president, as you know, has been very supportive of the military. Healthcare, of course, increased dramatically because of the COVID need for hospital care, for more work, more doctors, more nurses. And ICT, which is where we are heading in the world today. And this to me is the most exciting area that we are looking at into the future, the growth of ICT. Utilities saw a slight increase, but not very much. And manufacturing up a little bit as well. So government spending, which was targeted to grow at 10% this year, has grown, pushing the budget deficit to 9%. We used to have a budget deficit of about 5%. We've doubled that, more than doubled it. But we're still within an acceptable limit because this was created by the crisis, by the pandemic, not by mismanagement of the economic team in government. And the various rating agencies have understood this, so have so far kept their rating for us, but there is now some indication that they may lower it a bit soon. So we saw revenues grow, but which was good, but it basically has left us with the same deficit. But what's coming up now, starting in October, are the campaign for the elections. And that's when money really starts to go out. We will see a very different uptick towards the end of the year, and certainly then into the first few months of next year before the elections in May. And that will certainly help our economy into next year. After the elections, though, well, it all depends what kind of government we get, whether we're going to have a continuation of growth or another crisis. So GDP growth for this year, we have now brought that down from, we were expecting a 5 to 7%. Government was more in the 6 to 7.5. We're now looking at somewhere between 3 and 5%, almost negligible. And that means that we won't recover back to the 2019 level until 2023 at best. The lockdown has affected us again, and we've now got another lockdown promised for August. And that's going to affect negatively the growth we can expect over the next few months. So with the Delta variant, we have a new risk, and everything is up in the air again as to what could happen. But we're still keeping our 2022 growth rate, but not because it's a very successful year, but because the base is very low. With the decline in 2020 and very limited growth in 2021, we've got a low base on which to recover from. So we expect that growth rate would occur, but as I said, not until the following year, and maybe towards the end of that, do we get back to the 2019 level. We've seen unemployment and poverty definitely has not improved, and that's not likely to for some time, again, due to COVID. Inflation, and Joey mentioned this, we're expecting somewhere around 3 to 5%. That's up a bit, but it's not too bad. Part of it was due to the pork shortage in the first half, part of it to oil prices going up. Peso depreciating slightly in 2020, and we expect that to continue with a slight depreciation through the next couple of years. One thing that has certainly helped has been interest rates. The banks are giving very low interest rates today, and that's certainly helping businesses to recover and to grow, and for people to buy houses and cars, etc. But essentially, we've lost 3 years of the economic growth we had expected. I won't cover these because I think Joey did these very well, so I'll skip these 2 charts and move on to the next one. I mentioned ICT, and I don't think anyone has quite fully grasped just what this is doing to the world. I'm likening it to the speed of man. For hundreds of thousands of years, we could run. Then we tamed the horse, and then only 200 or 300 years ago, we invented the train, and then the motor car, and then the airplane. So we're almost flat for hundreds of thousands of years, and then suddenly began to take off. Now we're on a rocket ship. The change that is occurring to the world is so rapid, so dramatic, that we can't hardly understand and cope with it. As you've seen already in this past 14 months since the pandemic started, we're not in the office anymore, we're working from home. We've completely changed the way in which we do our business. And we have to be in that. The DICT, which is the key department for IT, is working on improving business, on moving up the government into digitization. And we've got to be part of that. In fact, given our capability, we should be a leader in it. And everyone is going to shift into this IT virtual world. Education has to change too. It was horrifying that we came out at the bottom on maths and science in the world. I mean, nothing could be worse than that. And this has to change because maths and science is what IT is all about. And our whole curriculum has to change to adapt to this. As I say at the bottom here, walking down Ayala Avenue, there was a pram with a baby in it, had an iPad, playing games, no doubt, but nonetheless, that child will grow up with that as a normal part of its life. It will be absorbed into its way of living, and it will be the future. So we've moved from a physical world to a digital world, and COVID has forced that change. The change has occurred in months, not the years we had expected. We expected this change over the next 5 to 10 years. It happened in that many months. So we have to learn new ways of doing business. And that basically comes down to a hybrid way of doing business. I don't think we will ever get back to the 9 to 5, into the office, head office, and back out again. What is happening is that head offices are now beginning to put up smaller offices closer to the workers, giving them less travel to have to do, and being flexible in how often they come to work and how often they don't. And flexibility will be the key to this. We're not looking at a rigid 9 to 5, we're looking at performance. You'll be measured by the performance, not by where you are. So it has been successful. Surprisingly, worldwide, working from home proved to be more productive than anyone had expected, and in many cases, more productive than working in the office. But one of the things that bothers me is that we've lost the camaraderie, we've lost the essence of being able to develop the loyalty to the company. Much harder to do when you're in isolated areas. And I think this is going to be one of the real challenges for business into the future, is how do we provide that loyalty And how do we get that camaraderie that is being lost? So it is going to be a hybrid world. Let me move on to politics today. And I'll be a little careful here, but anyway, the elections are less than a year away. The only survey we've seen so far lists these people as the most likely. And as you can see, the president's daughter leads the pack by a considerable margin, 2-1. I must say that I'm not very impressed with this list. There's only one person on that list that I would vote for. I'm not going to tell you who that is. But it bothers me. Some of the people on this are not capable of being president of the Philippines. They don't have the experience, the expertise, the maturity, the honesty of work that we have to have. So we're going to have to, I believe, we're going to have to think very carefully about our vote in this coming election, because it will be a crucial one. We need to have a president who will sustain the policies of this government, that will keep moving in a consistent way with what we've had so far, not go for radical changes that upset the system all over again. Normally, at this time, a president becomes a lame duck. He loses his influence over the politicians because he doesn't have any way to pressure them anymore. In this case, that's not true. President Duterte has maintained an incredible popularity, one no one else in the world has ever approached. Oh. Excuse me, I'll try and get rid of that. Sorry. One that no one has ever begun to approach. And what that means is that politicians have to be on side with him if they want to get re-elected, because he's got the clout over the voter. And it means he's still got the money to be able to push Congress in what to do. So he will remain a very influential factor in who is chosen for the next president. So I wonder why Manny Pacquiao is challenging him. Manny, of course, is extremely popular, but he doesn't really have a party. He has plenty of money perhaps, but maybe not at the level of a party. But you need the party. You need supportive politicians all over the country that are rooting for you amongst the populace. So it's very hard for an independent to have a chance. And the opposition still hasn't really pulled its act together. Carpio is trying to pull together something, and he's gradually getting there, but it's a long way away from the president's party. Then there's all this talk of Duterte being a VP. I don't believe that's going to happen. In my talks with him, I don't get a sense that he wants to continue beyond next year. So I'd be very surprised if he does. Let me talk now a bit about the performance so far, what I like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. And let's start with the ugly. EJK's, no question, that has not been a successful routing of drugs. The president was right when he came into government that drugs were a major menace to the country. But solving that in 6 months was never a practical reality. And the way in which it's been handled has not been very good at all. The number of deaths is certainly a concern, and the international world is now investigating it. And his capitulation on the West Philippine Sea. It's right, we can't anger China, but we have to stand up for ourselves. And so it's not been a good way in which he's handled that. Marawi City, 4 years now, and still not rebuilt. People still living in tents. And his attack on the press, particularly ABS-CBN, which shouldn't have occurred. That was a major TV station for all of us to watch, and the freedom of the press is an essential in any democracy. About the bad, well, the threat to cancel the VFA and denigrating the US, which you'll remember he did when he met Xi Jinping. They were mistakes. I have long argued, when I was at school, I was a nerd. And so I got picked on by the bullies because I was easy to bash up. And then one of the kids in the class became my friend, and his nickname was Tank. He was twice the size of everyone else. No one ever touched me again. Well, we had a tank. It was the US with bases in Subic and Clark. And 12 senators who were praised for it kicked them out. I think that was a huge mistake. Because had they been there, I don't believe China would have dared to take over some of our islands in the South China Sea. It would have deterred them. Well, it's much lesser, but it's the same thing. We need their support against the possible attack or threats by other countries. So the VFA, and I'm glad to see that he keeps postponing it. Hopefully he postpones it through until the next administration. The handling of COVID was not done well at the beginning. They have improved, but they still have, it still tends to be a bit ad hoc, not as well planned as it should be. And we're still way short of the testing and vaccinations, etc., that we need to do. He had promised to get rid of corruption. And I know he was very genuine about this. And I know he's very upset about the fact that it hasn't happened. But if the international surveys are correct, we've actually slid down a bit, not improved even a little bit. And that's very worrying because corruption is certainly having a major impact on our economy. I don't know if you read my column this morning. You might wish to do so because I wrote it 35 years ago, and much of what I said then you can say today. Congress has refused to pass a Freedom of Information Act. I think we can all guess why. So the president issued an executive order for freedom of information, but he hasn't told us what his assets and liabilities are as he is required to do by the Constitution. But then there's the good. And this is something I think too many people have overlooked. I read all the time amongst the business community here of the criticisms of the president for this or that or something else. But overlooked is some of the major changes that he has affected the previous presidents couldn't or didn't do. And the first is the build. And Sonny Dominguez was perfectly right. This had to be the center of what government does, because for decades we had not built as we should have. We've been spending less than half of the GDP percentage that other countries were, and it showed. Dilapidated roads, if roads at all, train systems that were collapsing, bridges that weren't there, and so on. So doing all of that has been a tremendous improvement to the country. We now have airports where you can fly in at night throughout the country, not just the two that were there before. The Bangsamoro Organic Law was attempted by two previous presidents and failed. It's still got a long way to go, but it's there. The Muslims have accepted it and are beginning to build that independent society. Overhaul of the tax system. That system was put in place in 1935 and it's hardly been changed since. It was in desperate need of change, and that change, almost all of it has been done. There's still two that are yet to do. But what it's done is it's reduced your taxes as an employee, and it's reduced your corporate taxes as a company, making you more competitive and giving you more money to invest and build your businesses. And we've increased the competition by bringing in a third telco so that we hopefully will get even better service into the future. And then the EODB, the Ease of Doing Business, and I'm directly involved in this as a director of the ARTA Council. We are digitizing and simplifying and speeding all business dealings with government. And with the help of DG Belhika at ARTA, who's worked very hard on this, is progressing very well. We are getting to a point, and much of it by the end of this term, some of it will transit into the next administration, where you will be able to do all business processes online on your cell phone within a few hours, no longer the days and weeks that used to happen. That is definitely coming, very positive. He gave free tertiary education, which has helped the poor immensely. Universal health care. There are problems there, of course. Phil Health is in various scandals. But the thing is that the policy is in place, the program is in place. It's now a matter of making it work properly. And he did, again, what no president had the guts to do before. He got rid of the NFA, a huge loss to the country, 160 billion pesos when it went out. And he freed up the rice market to make it more competitive in price for the consumer. And he has widened, expanded, and helped the poor with the conditional cash transfers and the Bayanihan 1 and 2, helping over 4 million Filipinos to have a slightly better life than they've had. But there are things that he promised to do that he didn't do. Change the constitution with a shift to a federal government to remove the economic restrictions and improve the plight of farmers. This is sad because I think at the beginning of his term, with the power he had, the constitution could have been changed. But like in all other attempts, everybody was scared that when you looked at it, you changed the political system to favor the politicians rather than the public. So finally, Congress last year agreed that they would look at just removing the economic restrictions, but that has been stalled, and it's going to be difficult now to get that through before basically October. It's a pity because those restrictions have definitely been a handicap to the Philippines in being competitive in the world. I mentioned already agriculture. That's in serious condition, growing at less than population growth, and with very few young people coming into the farms to take over from Dad as he passes on. The reproductive health law, which the church was, of course, vehemently opposed to, was necessary in a high-growing population, and one particularly where the young are becoming pregnant. So overall, a mixed bag, but I think basically a government that has done a fairly good job. So thank you all, and I wish you all a good morning and a successful rest of the day.
Okay, thank you to our sponsors. Before we proceed on our open forum, let me introduce to you our moderators. The first one is very popular among brokers. We usually call him Mr. Pinoy Broker. One of our moderators, the NREA Vice President for Internal Affairs, Mr. Joby Tupas. And of course, the second one is no less than our beloved, the ever gorgeous, the queen of our organization, the party list president of OFW One Filipinos Worldwide, the national chair emerita and chair lady of Board of Advisors, my all-time favorite, Miss Marisa Delmar. Ma'am Marisa, Sir Joby, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Joliver. Yeah, and good morning, Miss Marisa.
Good morning, VP Joe. Of course, my good friend, Mr. Peter Wallace. Nice to
Hi,
see you
Marisa.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Caliraya, I enjoyed the cook of the wonderful, delicious delicacies of our good friend, my sister. And of course, thank you so much, Mr. Joey Bondok, for joining us also. Good morning, NREA Philippines, to our chapters, to our presidents, to our great advisors, and of course, to Mr. Bondok and Mr. Wallace. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to take the first shot for our question because we have a lot of questions in our chat box. Okay, my good friend, Mr. Peter Wallace, the Anti-Money Laundering Council, or the AMLAC, is reportedly having tightening measures or monitoring our real estate transactions. With this, will this have a negative effect on our real estate industry?
Well, I think it was necessary. It is a bit of a worry to the community, but it was necessary to tighten the monitoring of real estate transactions because of money laundering and terrorism financing, which has come through in that way. The key here will be to implement this in a fair and honest way. And that's what I think your association will have to watch and be able to control, that it is properly implemented. I don't think you can change it, but I think you can make sure that it's done in the way that it's intended.
Okay, thank you so much about that. Of course, my good friend, the former president of Pampanga, Mr. Joliver. Hello, Miss Alma. Thank you so much. And another follow-up question, Mr. Peter, before I go on with Mr. Bondok. There are published reports of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas survey that the percentage of OFW households allotting remittances for the housing industry gone down by 6.4% this year. What are your forecasts on this?
The BSP is expecting cash remittances to grow by 4% this year. And if that's correct, then we should have an improved outlook on the economic recovery prospects because of in the US, the UK, and Europe, we're seeing recovery there. As long as the Delta variant doesn't knock it all back down again, we should see more OFW money coming in, and therefore we should see more household spending into the coming year.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Peter. May I ask the next question to Mr. Bondok, please? Okay. As vaccination improves, are there any positive trends to the economy and the real estate from our OFW remittances, BPOs, POGOs, and the like? Mr. Joey.
I think for the office market, we hear our clients saying that if their employees are fully inoculated, they will ask them to report on site. So that should result in greater office space absorption. I think for OFWs, if more OFWs are vaccinated, therefore they'll be allowed to work outside of the Philippines. So that should result in an increase in remittances as well. So 4% increase in remittances, that's a projection for 2021. So if more Filipinos are deployed this year, that should result in more OFW remittances as well by 2022. And that should have a positive impact on affordable to economic housing, which is practically the sweet spot for OFW housing requirements. So really a lot of positive things for real estate, positive trends, and even for retail, because if more Filipinos are vaccinated, they'll be more confident to go out. So more brick and mortar shops will now reopen. More malls will be welcoming more guests. So it really has a positive impact on the real estate market, and it encompasses practically all sectors. So you have office, residential, retail, even hotel. So yeah, really, really positive trends for the property market once we are all inoculated and once we achieve that herd immunity.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Bondoc. Mr. Wallace, thank you so much. VP Jovi, take it away. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Marisa. I'm glad you started the ball rolling, as I was still too busy digesting the information presented by our two NREA honorary members.
Great speakers, great speakers. Yeah.
Thank you very much to Mr. Joey Bondoc for all that data. No, so data overload, but if you are careful, if everybody is seeing the data, then you can have a good outlook and you can plan ahead. And then followed by Mr. Peter Wallace, who transitioned from what the data was given up to the government and up to what our future will lie. So let me ask my first question to Mr. Joey Bondoc. Yan. Mr. Joey, can we have a glimpse of your crystal ball? Where are the growth areas to invest in based on the real estate trends that you are seeing? I mean, give us your scenario for 2022 and probably 5 years after, around 2026. Where do we invest right now? What do we do?
Well, at Colliers, we would do informal surveys whenever we would have presentations. And the standouts, I would say, for residential investments are still Pampanga, Bulacan, Tarlac, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas. Visayas, you have Iloilo, which is a very attractive location for BBOs. Also for house and lot and condominium projects. Cebu is still very attractive, as well as Davao. So these are, the thriving locations. Some of them are traditional, I would say, hotspots already for residential development. Some of them are the emerging spots for residential development and investment. So definitely those are the locations that we see thriving beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. And as I highlighted earlier, and as Mr. Wallace supported as well, there's been a rising demand for beachfront properties, for larger lot cuts, lot sizes. And these are just some of the trends that are likely to drive the demand for properties moving forward.
Thank you very much. Quick follow-up. Is this the time to buy, or is this the time to sell?
We always say that now is the right time to buy because mortgage rates are very attractive. Interest rates steady. Central bank, of course, wants to prop up spending in the market. And then you also have the extended flexible payment terms being offered by developers. So they're even giving gadgets, gift certificates, watches even, just to lure more buyers, right? And we didn't see these offers pre-pandemic. It's only now that developers are offering these extended payment terms, and investors should take advantage of these flexible payment schemes being offered right now.
Thank you very much. And we have a phone-in question for Mr. P. Yes, Peter.
I would agree with Joey that in a crisis is always the best time to buy. Land is being offered now from people who need money, and therefore prices are kept fairly low. And once your economy recovers, one of the things that goes up quickest is land. So I would think that today is a very good time to buy.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Peter Wallace. Let me ask you again further for a follow-up question for that. Are we already in a crisis right now, or are we in the recovery phase for real estate development, Mr. Wallace?
I think the second quarter results will answer that question for us. As it stands now, we believe that we are beginning to be in the recovery stage. But as I mentioned earlier, what puts this at risk is the Delta variant. And I think this is the big the big risk today, that without the Delta variant, I believe we're on the road to bringing everything back together again and getting the country fully vaccinated and fully open. The Delta variant has put that into question. Also, I'm still concerned that the level of vaccinations is too slow and there's still too much resistance. And I think this is one of the things that we're going to have to address in a more positive way. I'm sure you all read what goes on in the US, where there's tremendous resistance. They're talking now, in fact, some of the big companies in the news this morning, Google and Apple and so on, are now mandating that their employees must be vaccinated. If they're not vaccinated, they'll be fired. And I think that's the way we've got to go. We can't just encourage people. We can't just try and convince them. I think we've got to have to mandate it, because vaccination protects all of us. It doesn't protect the person itself per se. You can't argue, oh, I don't need it because I'm a healthy person. If you get infected, you are potentially infecting other people. So it's a social issue that has to be addressed. And we still are running well below the numbers of vaccination that's necessary. You've got to be up around 400 to 500,000 a day if we're to get rid of this within the next few months. And I don't see that very likely. So I think it's still going to be well through to the end of next year before we've got enough vaccination to fully open up the economy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Wallace. We have a phone-in question specifically for you. Since you mentioned that you're in Caliraya and you've been seeing more people going to and seem interested in either purchasing or long-term lease of a vacation in beach houses, are you seeing that they are mostly from NCR or nearby provinces, or have you been seeing maybe foreigners trying to look at those areas?
It's been mostly people from NCR, mostly upper middle class that have some spare money now to be able to look around and to invest. And we've got a major development called the Hamptons, which is now being developed fairly rapidly, where I think we'll get people taking a significant interest in buying too.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wallace. Another question, another just short question. I'm just curious. How is the internet in your area right now? Just curious.
For us, it's very good because we have fiber optic, and we have a cell tower on our property from Smart. So we actually have much better internet than you do. We're running.
Thank you, VP Joey. Thank you, Mr. Peter. VP Joey, I just have a chat message here. In your opinion, will mass housing have much chances in being retained in the priority list for incentives under the yet to be formulated strategic investment priorities plan to implement the CREATE law? Who would like to answer that?
Go ahead, Joey.
Okay, I'll take
Joey?
it. I think it should be. It should be the priority because we still have a huge backlog in terms of housing. We have what, more than 6 million backlog in terms of housing here in the Philippines. So it's really important that the government prioritizes mass housing. It's one way of addressing that. I believe that the government is planning to allocate more, perhaps for succeeding national budgets, to help finance these mass housing projects and plug the financing gap that we're seeing in the market at this point. So I think it also depends on the support and then lobbying from groups like NREA perhaps, and then other industry associations for it to be included and be retained in the priority list.
Thank you, Mr. Bondoc. Another question, please. There is a current trend in the oil price increase, both here and abroad. Will this impact on economic recovery as well as on the real estate industry?
Sorry, but Marisa, could you repeat that? I've got 3 German shepherds that wanted to participate.
Okay,
Could-
about the oil price increase, how will this affect the housing industry?
Oil price increase. I don't think it will affect the housing industry particularly. It certainly affects all of us in the ability to pay for our bills for different things, particularly on transport. But I don't think it will have a major impact on the housing industry. Maybe bring up prices slightly because there's higher cost of oil for your trucks, etc. But I don't think it'll be significant.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peter. VP Joey, VP Jovi.
Okay, so again, I would like to address this question to Mr. Peter Wallace. Mr. Wallace, if in case, in the remote chance that you will become president, I mean, theoretically or in our dreams, if you become president in 2022, what will be the first 5 things you can do to address our current economic situation, or how to improve the outlook for the Philippines? 5 things that you would do as president, given that you will be given absolute control of everything and your wish will be the country's command or something.
That's a very tough one, top of the head. One of the first things I do is follow up on what the president was trying to do, which is address corruption. I think it's essential that the anti-corruption agency is greatly strengthened, and that we actually put people in jail. We've had too much of immunity of those who are the big time corruptors in the country. It's corruption, I think, that is perhaps one of the greatest deterrents to the development of the Philippines. I would put more focus on job creation. I would look at how we change our educational system to adapt to this new world so that more of the Filipinos can be properly educated to be able to get a job. I would continue with the Build, Build, Build. I think that's a very good program that is continuing. I would stand up more against China on the South China Sea. I would open up the economy. I would force Congress to pass the constitutional restrictions on the economy so that in our midterm elections or even earlier, we do have a plebiscite and vote for removal of the economic restrictions in the economy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peter Wallace. And I'm still hoping that you can consider running.
No, thank you.
Okay, so for Mr. Joey Bondoc,
Yes.
with the coming elections, Mr. Joey, in 2022, how will this affect your data regarding GDP, inflation rate, and what have you? Since usually during elections, we experience a surge of either hot or cold money or whatever going into our economy. So what do you think how will this affect our outlook, Mr. Joey?
I think in terms of election, what we want perhaps is an administration that will support the government's push for decentralization and the massive infrastructure implementation, because these 2 programs will definitely have a positive impact on the property market. So we just want an administration that will be supportive of these 2 thrusts that the current administration is implementing at this point. So we just want the continuity, and we hope that perhaps the next administration could further ramp up these decentralization and infrastructure implementation programs, which could really, benefit the property market and really redound to property investors and end users.
That's nice. VP Jovi, thank you, Mr. Bondoc. I would like to ask for both of you first, Mr. Peter Wallace, if you were to legislate a law regarding the labor, what will be your priority law in the legislation?
Well, if the Constitution would allow it, and here I'm not quite sure, I would get rid of security of tenure.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason or other, the Labor area doesn't seem to realize the security of tenure is the greatest disadvantage to employing people that you can have. Security of tenure says that after 6 months, you must be made permanent, and it's very difficult then to get rid of you, even if there's poor performance. This makes no sense, because if you are not doing a good job, a manager has a right to warn you, and if you still don't do a good job, get rid of you.
Yeah.
And what does he do? What does he do then? He hires somebody else. There has been no loss of job. What there has been is a change in the person, and the new one coming in will work harder because of fear of being terminated. So you get a more productive worker than you had before. On the 6 months, I would get rid of it. From day one, you should be entitled to all benefits, retirement benefit, PhilHealth, SSS, everything from day one, and that should be transferable from one job to the next. So if you work for 3 months for a company, you get 3 months worth of all those benefits that transfer into the next company. If you do those two things, what do they call it? Condition. What's the word for it? I can't think of the word. But those people who are under sort of contract and can be
End
easily
of contract. End of contract.
Endo, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
endo.
good of endo. There's no need for endo, because if you're getting all benefits at the beginning, why try to bypass it? There's no reason to. So getting rid of security of tenure, paying benefits from day one, I think would have the biggest impact, positive impact, on creating jobs and improving productivity of companies.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Peter. For Mr. Joey, I would like to ask another question. If you will be given the chance to have a legislation or a bill to be passed, what will make what law will make it a big impact on the OFWs?
I would say Department of OFWs, just so we can consolidate all government agencies, perhaps establish a one-stop shop so that those applying for jobs online don't have to hop from one agency to another. I think that will really provide a lot of relief to Filipinos planning to work abroad. So a well-crafted Department of OFW bill with implementing rules and regulations aimed at easing the requirements for our OFWs and those aspiring to work abroad.
That's nice. Very nice, Mr. Joey. VP Jovi, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Marisa. At this point in time, we would like to thank our speakers, Mr. Peter Wallace, Mr. Joey Roy Bondoc. Kindly stay for a while as we just do some parts of our program, and then we'll be doing the presentation of our certificates of appreciation.
Since its inception in 2015, BREA Homes has always stood for the nationalistic objective of alleviating homelessness and improving the quality of life for the underserved Filipino. Through the years, BREA Homes has been continuously growing its vision through offering a wider variety of choices and expanding its footprint to cover more ground, reach new heights, and serve more Filipinos across the archipelago. With over 50 projects all over the country, the BREA Homes brand has been synonymous with the best value for money options, top-notch quality, progressive locations, ease of ownership, and a premier customer experience. BREA Homes has always gone above and beyond expectations, redefining the concept of a home builder and turning subdivisions into fully thriving communities. Township projects will always be BREA's differentiator amongst its competition, with customer-centric concepts designed with the needs of its home buyers in mind. BREA Homes has always stayed attuned to the times, adapting to the digital revolution, all in the name of convenience and safety to its home buyers. Sustainability has also been a paramount priority to our business as we continually move towards an environmentally sound Philippines, one BREA Homes project at a time. Bria Homes has continuously reimagined affordable housing. We will continue to build dignified dwellings, picturesque communities, and prosperous townships, formerly inaccessible to the everyday Filipino. We are, and we will always be, the beacon of best value affordable housing in the Philippines. We are Bria Homes, your home of choice.
Smart decisions. That's something everyone wants to make. Like when buying a new place. Do you go for location? Energy efficiency? A fresh breeze? Or having no brownouts? How about smart planning and engineering that give you all of these? Take a closer look at West Insula, where you get to live easier, live wiser. At West Insula, you get perks that make day-to-day living a greater comfort. Just think of these smart features. Full backup power. When brownouts happen in the rest of the city, keep the computer, air conditioner, and everything else you need up and running. West Insula provides full backup power in all rooms, in all units. Water saving system. When it comes to wise water management, West Insula is designed to collect, purify, and treat rainwater for use by homeowners, giving you practical savings. Smart vents. And how about staying cool even when the air conditioner is off? West Insula has well-concealed vents that promote optimal airflow through every room, even when the windows are closed. Maximum energy efficiency. West Insula is engineered for ultra-efficient energy consumption. Take advantage of the patented electrical loading system that delivers maximum power at minimum cost. What's more, every homeowner gets to monitor their power consumption right at their doorstep, so you pay only for your own bills. No shared costs, no hidden charges. Atrium. Unique to the design of West Insula is the atrium, a central shaft of wide open space at the core of the structure, offering the added advantages of free-flowing air, natural light, and a relaxing ambiance. Ready to take a look? West Insula, built by EGI and Maryleaf Realty, stands tall with 25 stories at the corner of West Avenue and EDSA Shopping District. A train station, medical clinics, and malls are also just a few minutes away, so you don't have to go far to get far. Intelligent innovations at prime locations. That's what smart engineering for practical living is all about. See one of Insula Condominium's masterpieces for yourself. Schedule a visit to West Insula today. Make the smart move.
Okay, so thank you so much for our excellent speakers and equally excellent moderators. Before we proceed, let us thank our NREA advisors who are also around who supported this activity. One Filipinos Worldwide Party List President and NREA Chair Emerita Marisa Del Mar. Architect Nestor Mangio, President and CEO of Central Country Estates Incorporated, the Lakeshore. Mr. Alejandro S. Manala, Chairman of Habitas Development Corporation. Mr. Marcelino Mendoza, Chairman of Bria Homes. Architect Grace S. Mangio, President of E. Ganzon Incorporated. And to our special guests who are also present today, Senior Vice President John Wang of My City Homes and PRBRES Board Member Rafael.
Hello, hello.
We could hear you, Andy.
Oh, hi. Okay, I didn't hear the introduction. Should I read the certificates already?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm really honored to have this privilege to hand over this certificate of appreciation to our very good speakers. I always look forward to hearing their sessions, especially I mean both of them, but for Sir Peter Wallace, I've been listening to his especially economic briefings for maybe for the past 15 or 18 years. Uh, so thank you very much. First, so we'd like to present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Joey Roy Bondoc in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as special guest and speaker during today's NREA Business Forum online, a review of Philippines Today on July 29 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed, Board Chairman Benigno T. Cabreto Jr., uh, Chairman Emerita and Chair Lady of the Board of Advisors, Marisa Del Mar, National President Imelda Mutoto, and Secretary General Ronnie Biando. Thank you very much, Sir Joey. Next.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Next, I'd like to present this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Peter Wallace in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as special guest and speaker during today's NREA Business Forum online, a review of the Philippines Today on July 29 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live, signed by our board chairman, Benigno Cabrieta Jr., our chair emerita and chair lady of the Board of Advisors, Marisa Del Mar, our national president, Imelda C. Magtoto, and our secretary general, Ronnie B. Biando. Thank you very much, Sir Peter Wallace.
Most welcome.
Thank you, sir, Advisor Andy Manana. May we have our National Board Auditor, Ms. Ruth Atienza, to do the presentation for the certificates of our moderators.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm honored to do the presentation of the certificates of appreciation to our excellent and very engaging moderators. So the first is the certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Ms. Marisa Del Mar in sincere appreciation of your invaluable service to the association, particularly as moderator during the NREA Business Forum online, a review of the Philippines Today on July 29, 2021 via Zoom and NREA Philippine Facebook Live. Signed by our board chairman, Benigno T. Cabriato Jr., our national president, Imelda C. Magtoto, and our secretary general, Ronnie B. Biando. We also give the certificate of appreciation and is proudly presented to Mr. Joey Francis, W2PAS, in sincere appreciation of your valuable service to the association, particularly as moderator during the NREA Business Forum online, a review of the Philippines Today on July 29, 2021 via Zoom and NREA Philippines Facebook Live. Signed by our board chairman, Benigno T. Cabriato Jr., our national president, Imelda C. Magtoto, our chair emerita and chair lady, board of advisors, Miss Marisa Del Mar, and our secretary general, Tony. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Tatay Pepe in heaven.
It really feels great to once more recognize and commemorate the heroism of our beloved founder, Tatay Pepe Manalan. And to give us the closing message for this wonderful and insightful online business forum, let's hear from one of the pillars and one of the beautiful faces of NREA Philippines, the President and CEO of Ganson Incorporated, Architect Grace Santa Maria Layon.
Happy birthday, Tatay Pepe. We miss you and we love you. One of the blessings in disguise, if we may call it that the pandemic has brought to real estate is the affirmation of the importance of housing, both as a safe haven for isolation from the virus and as a new place for our work. Also, it has helped the industry avail of technology for the benefit of our sector. As a real estate practitioner, I learned a lot by way of industry, economic and political trends, and forecasts from our guests. Likewise, we will be guided to consider the important issues that may be confronting us in the future. We are hopeful that the next elections will not result in major disruptions to both economic and governance sectors. We hope for the continuity of good policies and for reforms that will still be needed. We would like to thank our distinguished guests, Mr. Peter Wallace and Mr. Joey Bondo, our participants, as well as our sponsors. We look forward to achieve herd immunity from COVID-19, and we thank both the government and the private sector for all the efforts in this regard. With that, I now formally close our NREA Business Forum. Keep safe, everyone, and good morning.
Morning.
Taking. Thank you, Architect Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Congratulations.
Picture taking.
It was a great session. Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Andy.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Our speakers are great.
Yeah. Thank you, Sir Peters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey.
Sir Peter, Joey, thank you.
Cora Pinky.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
God bless everyone. Stay safe.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Stay
po.
safe.
Officers.
Stay safe. God bless.
Officers.
Vaccines already.
Dr.
Chapter.
Seni.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sir
Thank
Mark. Sir Paeng. Thank you. Miss Press Emmy. Thank you. Press Alma. Thank you.
Thank you to all the officers and members of the NREA chapters for joining.
Thank you, Miss Juliet, Press Juliet. Architect Joy, thank you. Dr. Pinky, Castro, thank you for attending.